Welcome to Invest. We'll talk about investing, finance, and professional women. As the current time of 8:19 a.m. on Eastern Time, Ethereum could trade $2,866, about 1.89% so far. With respect to over crypto market and the equity market, on a pre-market perspective, we're approximately 1 hour away. We are collectively red with respect to the COVID fear that is cultivating exponentially. From China, it seems like the cases are definitely worsening. And as you can see from yesterday, the financial market in China has, I would say, collectively crashed by 3 to 4%, on the Hang Seng, the Shanghai index, if you may, right? So, respect to this week on the U.S. side of the house, we also are, expecting a lot of corporate earnings report coming out this week. So collectively, it's just, a lot of fear going on with both the COVID affectation, global inflationary pressure, potential recessionary fear. That's all, cooking into this pot of stew of fear, driving emotional sell-off via this roller coaster we've been on, right? With respect to Ethereum, we are currently down about 2% in pre-market hours perspective, and the 2864 is basically the 2850 level that we identified before. But you can see clearly, because of the international side of the fear that has been percolated as well, we actually leaked down below the 2800 for a brief second at the 2789 and subsequently bounced back up. And with respect to what's the level of the oversold or overbought, and also what's the momentum looking like right now, we are at the 30 out of 70, so really oversold. At the same time, the MACD is still gliding down, so the market is definitely looking for a higher pressure as we being more and more submerged, down. That is going to trigger some sort of a rebound shortly. 2850 is definitely a substantive level that we identified. But do we see like cracking below to 2621, going down to 2362? That's doubtful, I would say, right? You could see that people bought it up immediately because that's a really a high appetite zone for a lot of investors, right? So something to think about, right? In terms of incurring the risk, it's always the best time to be buying when fears that at the highest level. And I would say collectively in the past couple of days and weeks so far, and including this week as well, fear is all-time high. So buying at this level would be would allow you to generate the highest returns relative to when everything is like cool and like cool and collected and all copacetic, if you may, right? So something to think about, right, in terms of how you want to play your psychological roller coaster versus following the herd, if you may, right? And you can see that clearly we broke through the trends, right? We are no longer within the wedge that we were trying to form, which we had that preliminary surge. However, because of all the consecutive news, it kind of reversed the market downward. But we know that the technical will eventually pull it back up, despite it breaking down and cracking below it. But we are cracking below to a 2850 level, which I feel fairly comfortable buying it around this level. In respect to Bitcoin, we are gliding down to the $38,000 because that's the next logical level. We immediately bounce back up. We are at basically a great barrier right now in terms of the war. Like, with respect to the 38,500, that's a really great resistance level. So buying around this level would not be terrible. And we might potentially get down to somewhere around like 37,500, which is a flat number. 34,400 would be a big stretch coming down, knowing the fact that we're relatively oversold already at 37 out of 70. In respect to Ethereum Classic, we're selling down, so heading down to somewhere around like 2820 will be where I would ideally buy it. So we're basically in levitation zone mode at the moment. respect to Dogecoin, you could see that we had that flash. And I think Dogecoin is being surged up right now is because of the Twitter acquisition news that came out about like 40 minutes ago. Seems like they are proceeding with Elon Musk's bid alongside with a private equity firm, Tomo Bravo, onto acquiring Twitter. I think for like, I don't know, $42 billion collectively. So Dogecoin is being affected by it. That's why it's driving the reversal at the moment. With respect to Cardano, it's down about 2.5%, anywhere from basically current level all the way to down. It's fair game in terms of buying. Solana down about 3.5%, anywhere from basically 85 to below 75 is logical. XRP down about 5%. You can see that clearly we broke through it. It seems like just like selling off in a zigzag fashion, anywhere from 69 to 57, right? And I told you that with respect to 62 beginning would be where I would be starting to buy around these levels, right? Polkadot down about 5.27%, anywhere from basically 16 to 14. I would say anywhere from 17 downwards, so fair game. Basically, we're like 61 cents away from here. ALGORAND down about 4.5%, anywhere from current level down to 65 is fair game, but it seems like it's been just selling off ever since it began. So definitely not a good sight to be seen. You know, it's been like just like a downward escalator. So there is something flaw with the fundamental, definitely with this asset. Shiba Inu, 2100, 1400 to 900. So we are basically like 200 away from it. It's not terrible in terms of incurring risk around 2100 because it has bounced many times in the past. But if we crack 21, 1400 to 900 will be coming, right? Respect to Polygon, anywhere from 142 to 120. So we're within the frames at the 37 out of 70. So not terrible to incur risk right now. AVAX down about 2.5%, right? 59 to 50 based on the current leap down. And Luna at 89 right now, so we are consolidating because there's a bunch of consolidated level at the current level, basically 90 technically, right? But knowing the fact that we do have a relatively sizable leap down at the 47 out of 70, coming down to bare minimum around 75 first, which will be a bounce. If we crack 75, which I think will be likely, knowing the fact that it's a head and shoulder pattern, 62, 52 to 45 from here will be where we're coming, right? And then let's take a look at the equity side. You know, you can see that clearly we broke through it in terms of the Dow Jones, S&P. You could see that clearly we broke through that as well as incomparable, which is you know, because of the COVID, again, the inflationary pressure, the Jerome Powell speech on last Thursday, collectively. So definitely not the best time, you know, in terms of selling, definitely. Ultimately, investing is a long game, right? I would not try to worry too much about the short-term volatility and continue to hold, right? And try to ignore all the news and the noise that you're seeing, right? I promise you, like a year from now, when all of this are over, you're gonna basically think back like, wow, you know, it was a definitely wild time. But the gains that you have gained so far from, you know, when it's like fierce all-time high, when it's like in a recession or depression, the return relative to when you're buying at like a normal market is night and day, right? So the returns will be massive if you can hold and sustain that psychological, you know, roller coaster that you're seeing, right, or feeling at the moment. So appreciate you. Let me know if you have any questions, and take care. Bye.